So we have three different types of foot positions or bases of support that we're in throughout the day. We have symmetrical base, which is like a squat. Both feet are on the ground, you're squatting down. We have a split stance, which is going to be a lunge or split squat position, one foot right in front of the other. And then you have single leg stance, which is something like a step up. Now in the functional movement screen, we check all three of those. We check your squat, we check your lunge, we check your single leg stance with a hurdle step. Now just because you got a good squat doesn't mean you're going to have good single leg stance. Just because you have good single leg stance doesn't mean you're going to have a good lunge. So we want to check all of those. Now what I'm going to run through right now is some other things you can do while you may be correcting one of those foot positions. So I got Virginia right here, and she actually has a squat pattern problem, but she does okay with the lunge and the hurdle step. So just because you got a squat pattern problem doesn't mean you can't strength train the lower body. So what we could do while we're correcting the squat, so we could do some basic squat corrections, let's do some lunge pattern, let's do some split stance activities. And the first thing I want to have her do is just a body weight split squat. So one foot directly in front of the other. I like starting personally with split squats, because that's a little bit more of an easy thing to teach rather than lunging and then stepping back. So the difference between a split squat and a split squat, your feet are planted and you're just simply going up or down and up, down and up. The lunge is where you take a step, you go down and come back. You see right there, I struggle a little bit. What people have a tendency to do is use momentum when you're doing these activities. So for example, when I go down, I flex and then I throw myself back to step back. So often people do that. So starting with the split squat gives a person a little bit less way to compensate. So I get Virginia standing up. The more narrow the base you see here, the more difficult it's going to be. So start with just about a 6 to 8 inch base of support width, both feet pointing straight. So Jenna looks pretty good right here. I'm going to turn this back foot a little bit to keep that back foot straight. And I want her up nice and tall. And all I'm going to tell her to do is just drop that back knee straight down and come up. Really making sure she doesn't flex forward. She keeps everything up nice and tall. So basically just drop straight down. Drop straight down and come straight back up, and good. The next thing I want to have her do is I'm going to tell her to go down. And when she comes back up, I want her to push forward with the back foot and backward with the front foot to create a scissor effect. And that's actually going to create a little bit more core engagement. So forward with that back foot, Jenna, backward with the front, and that's going to help her stand up. So we start with body weight, then we do what? I'm going to add a little weight, one arm load, and start with just more of a suitcase carry type position. Same thing, get that back foot, turn straight. Everything up nice and tall. So don't lock that front knee, Jenna. Keep that front knee bent. So go down, touch, come back up. Same thing, struggle a little bit right there. Now this is an off-center load, so it's not all about strengthening right now. She's creating good core engagement. She's reacting to this off-center load, creating a little bit more stability-focused activity anytime you go one off-center load or one arm activity. So do it again. Oh, hold on, you gotta get that back foot straight. Get that back foot straight, good. Down and come back up. Now to get in that split squat, you saw she struggled right there. One thing we want to do is both feet together, and I'm just going to have you step out. Take a big step out. Just a big, not a giant, not a huge. You want to take it back just a little bit? Right there. And just a good step, large step is how we can get that distance to start. So now, get that back heel down to start. Both feet straight. Good. Now go down and come back up. So this is probably where I would start with Virginia here, and then add this in maybe on the second set, okay? Because I know she struggled after that second rep. So start here and go down and come back up. So she's still struggling, so not quite ready for the weight. However, I could take a band and create the same type of resistance. So now I'm going to take the band and I'm going to wrap it around her. Create this loop. So now I've got a loop. So I got this loop with the band. I'm going to pull it around her arm. Put your arm in here. Now I'm going to cross it around her body. So now as she keeps that left or that right knee in front, it's pulling her down, creating that same type of resistance where it's pulling her towards that back knee, which is what the resistance was doing. But by pulling her around up top, it's going to force her to react to that. So same position now, Virginia. Get around her shoulders. So now straighten that back foot out. Same, everything's the same. So now the band is giving her resistance. So now go down, come back up. And she's still struggling a little bit, but now the band, I can ease off the resistance, and then she can actually gauge the resistance herself by moving away from where it's anchored. So split squats are just another simple thing to add in while you're correcting another pattern. Now that we've looked at split squats, check out this next video for more tips.